Ой, это, конечно, ужасно волнительно, когда один из главных режиссеров мира и твой любимый режиссер соглашается пустить к себе в дом. Одна из тем, о которых с ним очень интересно будет поговорить, это, конечно же, Каннский фестиваль. Место, которое в некотором смысле сформировало его как режиссера. Триер дважды поднимался на сцену Каннского фестиваля за высокими кинонаградами. Первый раз он получил гран-при в 1996 году за фильм «Рассекая волны». И именно после этой награды молодой датский бунтарь и провокатор превратился в важного мирового режиссера, за которым надо обязательно следить. Это был, кстати, мой первый фильм Триера, который я посмотрела, по-моему. Второй раз он поднялся на сцену в 2000 году, и теперь это была уже высшая награда – «Золотая Каннская ветвь» за фильм «Танцующая в темноте». И это был уже другой Ларс, признанный гений, автор прогремевшего киноманифеста «Догма», режиссер, у которого почитали за счастье сниматься главные голливудские звезды. Я бы сказала, это был уже выдержанный Ларс фон Триер. Его можно сравнить с этим виски Дёрс двойной выдержки. Для его изготовления односолодовые молты сначала выдерживают в бочках по отдельности, затем их смешивают и снова выдерживают. И отсюда и возникает эта уникальная мягкость вкуса, потому что дважды лучше. Короче, я в Копенгагене, столице Дании. И примерно через час я встречаюсь с одним из главных живущих кинорежиссеров мира. Или даже для меня самым главным – Ларсом фон Триером. Как же все-таки страшно. Я ужасно боюсь, что вообще не получится интервью. Мне говорят, что он может в любой момент встать, уйти, что у него такой склад характера, что ты никогда не знаешь, что из этого получится. Можете мне сказать?
Да, это правда. Ларс человек довольно невротичный. У меня было несколько опытов, когда я наблюдал его срывы. Он очень такой тонкий инструмент, тонко настроенный, который действительно лучше не расстраивать. Больше всего на свете он не любит, когда есть какая-то запланированная беседа со списком вопросов. Теперь вот этот вопрос, тот. Я, когда интервьюировал для книжки, я пришел к нему с диктофоном, и у меня была идея поспрашивать его, собственно, книга она отражена, по каждой главе. И я нажимал на диктофоне новую главку, отмечал после его ответов. И он после третьего нажатия говорит: а это вы каждый раз, когда меняете тему, вы нажимаете на кнопочку, да? Я говорю: ну да, вы все правильно поняли. Он говорит: понятно. Продолжаем говорить, он посреди своей какой-то фразы нажимает на эту кнопку, мне говорит: сбил я вам вашу систему? Я говорю: да, сбили.
А он провокатор вот в разговоре, потому что в фильмах, понятно, он там один.
Ну, конечно, его фильмы очень личные, он, конечно, проявляет в них всего себя. Он тихий, спокойный, интеллигентный человек, но он человек с парадоксальным мышлением, потрясающим и очень особенным чувством юмора, и это проявляется постоянно в каждой реплике. И, кстати, еще одна вещь, которая мне очень нравится в разговорах с ним, он очень любит, когда ты ему противоречишь. Вот он что-то говорит, и говоришь: нет, это не так, это неправильно.
Это он любит.
Да, ему это нравится.
Я боюсь выглядеть глупо, потому что, кто я такая, чтобы, в принципе...
Да ему-то какая разница, ему все никто. Все, кто бы ни приехал, ему совершенно это не важно. То есть...
У меня руки будут трястись.
Это бывает. Я думаю, он это сочтет за комплимент, во-первых. Во-вторых, у него самого руки, скорее всего, будут трястись. У него вообще тик, и руки часто ходят ходуном.
Я знаю. Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second? Are you locals?
Yes.
Great! In 1 hour, I'm meeting Lars von Trier. Do you think he's the most famous living Danish person?
No.
Who is the most famous? The Queen.
Pretty famous.
Yeah, I think the Queen, the royals.
Well, the Queen Margaret, H.C. Anderson.
Что значит, ребят, монархия? Они все говорят королева. Do you think he's the most famous Danish person?
That's a hard one. Yeah, maybe.
Have you watched his movies?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Which ones you liked?
I don't know.
А вы из России? Да. Туристы? Да. Вы знаете Ларса фон Триера? Нет. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Can I have one hot dog?
One hot dog, yes?
Do you know Lars von Trier?
Yes, of course.
Tell me, is he the most famous person of Denmark? No? Queen. After Queen, Lars von Trier. Влада из Одессы. А вы знаете, кто такой Ларс фон Триер? Не знаю. К сожалению. Триера не знает, Собчак знает. Все нормально.
Наконец-то.
Давай.
Россия вперед!
Okay.
You all know this song, very nice.
Сейчас они выступят, и мы захватим микрофон. Do you think he's the most famous living person in Denmark?
No, I think that's the Queen.
After Queen?
Yeah, maybe after the Queen he might be.
Thank you, guys. I just wanted your attention for one moment. My name is Ksenia Sobchak. I'm from Russia. Who is the most famous living person of Denmark after the Queen?
Me!
No, really? Do you have any options? Living person and not the Queen. Who is it? Who knows Lars von Trier? Can you? You know, who likes his movies? Can you? Great, thank you very much. Он может там, не знаю, открыть дверь и встретить тебя там просто в трусах или в пижаме.
Может. В 50% случаев он встретит вас в трусах, потому что он хочет вас провоцировать, а в 50% случаев, потому что он забудет, что у него интервью, и просто он ходит в трусах.
So wait a minute, because Lars is just going to use the bathroom. This is Lars.
Hello, Lars.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I waited for it so long. This is my crew.
Yeah.
We want to make a dogma-style documentary. Read so many times of how simple your house is, but I never realized it will be that not full of any furniture. Very Scandinavian style. Can I a little bit look around? This is your working area.
Yeah.
What is that?
Centropa don't want me to tell you what I'm working on, but I would like to. It's the end of the kingdom.
It's the series which you already did many
Yeah,
years ago. Actually, you were the first one to do the series after Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks was a great inspiration.
So you're getting after 20 years to that, yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little thing to do, but it grew and now it's really big.
What does that say, for example? Mona beginner.
It says Mona begins to ride.
So it's like small scenario.
Yeah, it's part of it, but it's not the end.
So this is where you work. This is where you create things. How you do this?
Normally I have my computer and it's like everybody.
Советуйте, с чего мне начать беседу?
Скажите, Ларс, я вас обожаю, вы лучший режиссер в мире, вы это когда-то сказали, и я с вами полностью согласна, теперь давайте поговорим. Он согласится, скажет, да, действительно, лучший режиссер в мире, и дальше вы найдете общий язык. Мне кажется, достаточно быть собой, сильно не выпендриваться, не стараться его специально льстить, да, и просто вести разговор, все будет хорошо.
I have a small present for you. You know, you're, for me, you're number one in the world, my genius director. So I brought you some guilty Russian pleasure, you know. You cannot actually bring through customs, but I did especially because of you. This is Russian black caviar.
Wow.
From real smugglers, the best one, which you can never buy in a boutique.
You're the smart one.
Yeah, I'm the smuggler,
Okay.
actually. So I don't know if you eat caviar, but
I certainly do. It's fantastic. I'll put it in the fridge. Thank you.
a cunning way of a journalist to see what's inside Lars von Trier's fridge. Now we know it's ketchup here, and Dijon Original. What's that?
It's a part of credits for Antichrist, I can see. It's a painter, Per Kirkeby, who sadly just died.
Is it okay to watch? What is it there? Or it's something secret inside?
There's nothing secret, but I don't think you should film my bedroom.
Well, but maybe, you know, maybe you torture women here or something like this, you know, special room with lots of stuff from medieval ages.
You're so right. Yeah,
secret stairs
down in the
and
dungeon.
down, like in
Dungeon.
Jack's movie. You know, lots of bodies
Yes.
of
Yeah.
poor women tortured during all those years.
This used to be when I have my family here. I withdraw to down here.
So not to be with them, you come here and start
Yeah.
creating things.
Yeah, it's more quiet here.
But I would never believe that Lars von Trier
No, but I don't
would
use
leave
it.
this. This you don't use, no?
No,
Never.
but I should.
So why do you have it here?
Because I should.
Great. So this is your working place. Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
You love Stanley Kubrick?
Oh yes.
What is your favorite movie of his?
Barry Lyndon.
Fantastic movie. So that means that from time to time you watch movies, because I've read lots of books about you and many interviews of you, and you say that from 20 years old time you don't watch anything.
No.
So
But sometimes,
you make exceptions.
yeah, because we produce films and then I talk to the directors about the films and then I have to see them, you know. So sometimes I do, but it's very little and I don't know any actors of today, you know.
Amazing place. Jill Jacob, your friend,
Yes.
once said that you can judge what Trier's mood is by the length of his hair. When his hair is very short, that means he's quite aggressive, and the longer hair it gets, the kinder he gets.
Okay.
So
It's the opposite of Goliath. Wasn't that something with Goliath's hair? When it was cut, he was done with. Yeah, maybe he's right. I feel quite confident.
So what your mood is like now? How do you feel now?
I feel good. The kids are all grown up, and I have 4 very nice children. Here I sit alone, and I'm quite content, and I'm still working.
After the movie you made, the house that Jack built, do you feel kind of emptiness or some period of time when you cannot come back to some big work of movies again?
The only thing I feel is that the shooting of the film was I had a lot of anxiety, which made it unpleasant, but it was not unpleasant because of anybody. It was my internal anxiety.
You talk about some different states of mind you have, about the fears you have. What is your period of mind now? Are you fighting with some inner devils right at the moment?
I'm glad I didn't show you my bedroom, because then you would see how many pills I take. And I take 14 different pills, so that must kind of just to put a lid on the inner demons.
That happens during already a long period of time. It's again some depression coming on you.
Yeah, but it's more efficient now.
And what about alcohol? You said that you had this problem, but is it more of a cure for these states of minds, or it's your enemy with whom you fight?
It very often starts as what we call self-medications. But I take some therapy, so I hope right now I'm clean.
You visited some anonymous alcoholic groups, but I couldn't visualize that Lars von Trier, genius of the world, is sitting in a group of people telling his story. It's really true?
Oh yes, oh yes. I am now in a new group because the old AA had a lot of things about God in it. And I'm not religious, man, but it's the same. It's very good people, most of these people. Remember the first meeting I went to? One of them really looked like a vagabond, and was really into deep trouble. And he came to me after the meeting and said, "Do you have a place to sleep tonight?" He wanted to give me a corner of I don't know what he slept in, but that was very touching.
So they didn't know who are you? I mean, they didn't get any idea of that you're a famous worldwide director?
No.
But knowing about many of your fears, how did you find your comfort of sharing something intimate with people you don't know? It must be a very...
But that I don't think have ever been the problem. I'm quite outspoken, as you know. It can make troubles for me. It's not a big problem, and especially in a group where they are used to doing this and where there's a lot of respect.
I think many of the people would love to become alcoholic just to get into this group, to be near you.
Okay,
you know?
I wouldn't recommend it. You know, alcohol is a fantastic drug, but sometimes it rules you. The idea is that if you rule it, it's okay. But if it rules you, then you have a problem.
In Denmark, you're one of the most famous people. It's like, you know, you, Hans Christian Andersen, Hamlet, and Little Mermaid. So you're in a company like this.
Okay, then I'm the Little Mermaid.
So you're like the most important diamonds of Denmark.
Yeah, okay.
And now you're creating diamonds about your every movie. Tell me about this project.
It's 7 years ago I got this idea. I like that to be something, to add something to the films. Then I saw a lot about what that could be, and I have been fascinated by diamonds from when I read Diamonds Are Forever, you know, and I studied them a little, and then I thought, yeah, let's try that. If we can find a man who's crazy enough to put up some money, and that's Leonid.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of diamonds too.
Yes.
So, you know, so as a girl, I understand you're very good. Why you decided to establish diamonds in Russia?
I have a colleague who is based in Paris, and she found Leonid, and she never told me how she found him.
Okay.
And so far he has, hopefully, he's not coming with a big bill in the end, you know. It's a happy relationship.
So your first diamond is Melancholia. The next one will be?
It will be Breaking the Waves.
Breaking the Waves. And you will be doing it in Russia?
I will probably be doing it from here, but now you have a lot of possibilities in 3D print. When I got a scan of a rough, then I can start working, and the Russian cutters are very good and have very modern machinery, so I'm looking forward to that. When
I first heard about this project, I thought maybe this is a way out for Lars von Trier, because movie business is becoming so politically correct that becoming an artist is something, a way out to make some, you know, exhibitions as an art.
It's difficult to make a diamond that's not politically correct.
That's true.
That would really be a challenge. Thank you very much for.
You know, the last refuge of non-political correctness is contemporary art.
You will find that the Danish film law is, you can do a lot. I'm sure it's one of the countries in the world where you can do the most. Many of my films are censored in one way or another, you know, when they travel.
But can you regard, for example, as House That the Jack Built as a video art and not a movie?
For me, you can, you know, regard it as anything.
That's logical. Yeah.
But video art, yeah. I still, in my mind, work for the big screen. That's how I imagine the films. And even though we, like you do, work on video, I still see it as a film.
Can you imagine all the same things you do, but your premieres are not in Cannes, where you were persona non grata, as we all remember.
For 7 years.
Yeah, for 7 years. But you do it in Venice Biennale of Modern Art, or Manifesto. Isn't it a cool idea?
I'm a very bad traveler, I must say.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. So for modern people, it's so easy to go to Cannes, just to jump into a plane and jump out again. but I take the car and it takes 3 days for me, so it's a little complicated. But my terms with the can is good again, and I think we have spoken about what happened. It was quite terrifying. I thought I was a Jew for a long time.
Долгое время я думал, что я еврей, и я был счастлив быть евреем. Я на самом деле хотел быть евреем, но потом я выяснил, что на самом деле я фашист, потому что моя семья немцы. Это тоже доставило мне некоторое удовольствие.
Because I was threatened to go 5 years to jail in Marseille. Yeah, I know that Russian prisons are not the place to go, but after them, I think Marseille comes. It can really influence a very nervous person like me, but also a normal person would be. And the whole thing was, of course, a misunderstanding, and I think I was let down a little bit by the moderator, because I ended up saying, okay, I'm a Nazi, which is just a way of ending a conversation. You know, if you still say that blah, 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 then I stop it by saying that. And the moderator mind should have said, what do you mean by that? That was all it had taken, and I would have explained that the man I thought was my father was Jewish, and the man that was my father was German.
And the names of your children are Jewish too, as you wrote in a letter.
That's right.
А есть темы, которые дико его могут разозлить. Но вот мне про Гитлера и про то, что он все равно после Кан продолжил в Джейке вот эту историю про икону зла. Длится, когда его об этом спрашивают?
Нет, если он даже в фильме, вот он должен вроде молчать об этом, он не молчит, он не может молчать, из него это лезет. Это просто его право на свободу слова, его право на то, чтобы заходить за пределы, нарушать границы. Вот он весь про нарушение границ, частных границ, границ в искусстве, границ в этике. Он исследует нарушение границ. Не значит, что он хочет их переходить, не значит, что он провоцирует и предлагает людям переходить эти границы. Но его интересует переход этих границ. Он понимает, что человек, который находится внутри границ, не интересен. Человек интересен, когда он эти границы преодолевает. И все, это так.
I felt pain that in a modern world, such a big intellectual figure like you has to explain so many times that he was misunderstood. Yeah. Don't you think that it means we live in a not kind of a right world, and the price you have to pay for good relations with cons now is very high? You have to tell every idiot that didn't mean this. Yeah. I meant another thing. I was not right.
I think the internet was part of the problem, because Twitter has just started, and you know, then it's a matter of saying things in very few words. I was stupid too, because I of course didn't think of where we were in France, and you know, the French have a very bad conscience because of the Vichy government, you know, gave all the Jews up to the Germans. Somebody told me that if I'd said it in Germany, nobody would have noticed.
Do you like living in a world where now it's all black and white? You cannot even say a name, Hitler, without all the attention to you, and cannot even discuss aesthetics of something or some controversial points. In a world of tolerance and political correctness, that society became a Hitler itself, you know, bullying anyone who says something.
But in my belief, we have lived the golden age of democracy in the Western world, and we didn't know, so we just kept on asking for more. And now there's, as you know, a great right turn in Western Europe and in America with Trump, which is completely ridiculous. The young people have to fight this turn to the right.
But in the movie you made, you
Yeah,
were the same Lars von Trier, the same strong, and who shows, I'm sorry, fuck to everyone, because still you had the topics of, you know, this tree near Buchenwald, you had the topics of icons of evil and, you know, Hitler and all these things. So you still stand on your own.
But it's because it's central things, and I think that one of the most important lessons that can be learned is that we all have a Nazi inside us, or a Hitler, or whatever you want, but Hitler was extreme. I just heard that from a new book that he was on speedballs. He had, cocaine and heroin injected every morning during the whole war. I don't know if it makes it more human. It was a terrible disaster, not only for the Jews, but for a lot of Russians. And the war was extremely brutal in Russia, of course.
Yes, but this doesn't mean we cannot discuss
No.
how beautiful the uniform was, or how Leni Riefenstahl was a talented director, for example.
No, I think that's important to discuss, because then you think about it. And yes, I'm sorry, it's some birds that are saying something. They are very territorial, is that what it's called? They are fighting each other all night. These little ones with the white thing, I don't know what they're called in English, but they're fighting all night about nothing. And then the next morning they start again.
Nonetheless, I was on your premiere in Russia, and the scriptwriter of the scenario said that it's a movie about those feminists' values and how we should, think about this subject. Lars, are you kidding me? But it's not a feminist movie, and thanks God it's not a feminist movie. Why? Tell me why this movie was...
I don't know why it was to be a feminist movie. I have maybe a little special relationship to feminism, because my mother was chairman of the Danish movement of women. So, but of course it has to hurt a little bit to see a film about a serial killer. I'm sure you have serial killers in Russia. In the US also, that's quite a lot. Maybe it's the same point as in all the films, is that we have to look into ourselves and see if we can follow our own moral and remember that there is maybe a serial killer in all of us.
На самом деле, Триер феминист номер один в мировом кино. 100%.
Феминист?
Конечно.
Ладно, мне кажется, он ужасный мизогинист.
История мужчины в фильмах фон Триера – это история человека, который хотел как лучше, а получилось как всегда. Женщина – это история человека, который ничего не хотел, а смог изменить матрицу вселенной. И он не может быть мизогинистом, рисуя постоянно автопортреты в обличьях женщин и даруя женщинам лучшие актерские работы, которые вообще бывают в 21 веке. Мне кажется, никто, может быть, Альмодовар мог бы где-то пристроиться рядом. Во время этой кампании #MeToo, которая продолжается сейчас по всему миру, все попытки найти на него компромат и даже прямой наезд Бьорк на него, они ничем не кончились. Потому что на самом деле у его актеров и актрис, которые проживали, я уверен, много травматических моментов вместе с ним, реально не нашлось, что ему предъявить. Он старался быть все равно человеком, и человеком корректным, и теплым, и по-настоящему деликатным. Как-то не странно прозвучит, не знаю его фильм, предполагаем, что он там залезает под кожу. Залезает, но у него для этого свои методы.
I was very interested in one of your phrases in interviews that you were very much fascinated with Strindberg's attitudes, incorrect attitude towards women. So can you tell me a little bit more? What do you mean by your special attitude towards feminism?
I can tell you that Strindberg lived just over here, 2 kilometers from here, when he was fleeing Sweden, because he thought he was accused of rape, which he was not. But he was a very nervous man also, and he wrote some of his best plays here, and he hated the Danes, of course. But if you compare him to Ibsen, then I think you'll find that Strindberg is much more up to date, because he has these wild provocations and terrible temper, and somehow early in life I read quite a lot.
So what, in your opinion, was his strange attitude towards women you were telling about?
He once took Siri von Essen, his wife, and threw her down some stairs. That was maybe one of the more cruel things. But all his marriages were one long fight. You know, the sexes were fighting. So, but I'm quite comfortable with that. It's not like that today, but of course it can be in some relations, but.
But it has nothing to do with your personal relations with women.
No, I don't consider myself to be, you know, kind of an abuser.
Well, I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Even after Björk's words. How did you feel?
I'm sorry, no, but I just feel, because she also wrote a letter to Nicole Kidman saying she shouldn't take the part. So then you're really pissed off. That's all I can say. She's really pissed off. And it's a pity because she's one of the best actors I've worked with.
How did you feel? You made her so great in your movie. You made her actually a star. How did you feel?
But she gave so much. And problem was when we were together just in private, then she became a little devil. And so did I probably. You know, one of the problems is that Iceland has been a Danish colony for 400 years or something like that. And everybody in Iceland hate Danes. Her grandfather said that she should never work with a Dane because he would eat her soul.
Maybe that's what happened during the movie, no?
I doubt it. If somebody ate the soul, then I think it was the opposite way. But no, but it was really hard to do because we never knew if, you know.
Yeah, but I just want to understand, how did you feel? You made her a big star, and then you read all this stuff about you in the company of Me Too, where now you know that it's another big point, you know. Yeah. One point is everyone is obsessed with Hitler. Who said something about Hitler? He said, let's punish him, let's put him to jail. Another point is who raped someone, who kissed someone. Me Too all over the world. And you, in this order, you see Björk, for whom you made so much. How could she do that?
She was always in Iceland considered to be a genius, which I think she is. So every work she did, she had the last saying. And I had the same, you know. So we had to make agreements on anything. It was very tiresome.
When I was looking at this Me Too scandal with Weinstein,
yeah.
I understood that you already shoot Uma Thurman in a very funny role of a bitch who was, you know, smashed in the first 10 minutes of your movie because she's so stupid and so, you know, badly behaved aggressively. And now I was looking and thinking, okay, she becomes the main icon of this Me Too movement. Yes. And I think you should be so much afraid of her that now, as apostle of this Me Too, I could say something about shootings of Jack or you.
Yeah, no, I think I have a very good relationship with Uma.
But she could kill you in a second. Do you realize that?
Oh yes, but that she could without me too.
Yeah, but coming out and saying something after Weinstein or any other. Yeah. I was shooting with Lars now in House that Jack built. Yeah. You know how he behaved? He put his hand on something, I don't know what. And that's all. That would be the end.
No, I'm not afraid of that. I don't think she was offended in any way.
She could support Björk and make it bigger.
Yes, but that's the way. First, you know, the internet is introduced, and then everybody says, "Oh, that's fantastic." Now it's real democracy because everybody can say what they want. But the problem with it is, of course, that it becomes very much what we call the parliament of the street. You know, that every rumor is taken serious, and I think it's a good idea, and if it's used right, it's an important thing, but there are just a lot of dangers in it also.
I have an important question to you. Don't you think that this parliament of the street became actually the dictatorship of the street? Because the discussion becomes simpler, lower, and actually the biggest dictator now is this parliament of the street. They dictate the rule. And execution they make faster, without any trial.
Yeah. Because we used to have this very good rule that somebody is innocent until he's proven guilty.
Now it's not like this anymore.
No, and that somebody has to sit down from all over the world and talk a little bit about the internet, how it should be used and how it should not be used. And I know it's I'm not a man who's in favor of censorship at all. I believe in saying everything you can, but there are people who would use things in a wrong way, if you ask me.
For example, Kevin Spacey will never come back to the movies in Hollywood over his scandal. Are you ready, for example, to shoot Kevin Spacey in your kingdom? Or you will not
I'm not really sure what his crime is, but I will wait till he get a sentence from a court. Then we can discuss it. I don't know the man, so he's a good actor. So
if he will be plead guilty, you won't shoot him.
I have to see the details.
Ethical moment for what you do, is it important? Or you think that art should go out of the borders of ethical things and morale?
I still believe in this thing called provocation. When I was young, it was very popular and considered a political statement, you know, if you made a provocation. And it might be difficult for all the internet users in the world to see how important it is to keep on doing these things. But of course you can also make provocations on the internet, and that will probably, but that is for a new generation to find.
I have one thing I wanted to do with you. I want to play a small game. These are the scenes from your movie.
Okay.
You remember what he showed to the camera
in
an episode near the car? Verbal superiority, intelligence.
Эгоцентризм, вульгарность, грубость, импульсивность, нарциссизм.
Но я же не дурак.
Интеллект, иррациональность. Это необычно. Манипуляция. Психопат никогда не признает себя психопатом.
Let's fantasize. These are all your demons. We all remember those worlds. They're from the movie.
I don't even remember them. But these are, you know, the characteristics of a psychopath.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that we should test if I'm a psychopath?
No, not of course. But I just want to play with you a game of demons of every person.
Yes.
So let's, like in a football match, decide between two of them each time, and then we will choose the main one. So what demon is bigger, mood swing or vulgarity for you?
From the mood swings, the vulgarity comes, right? So that makes the mood swings the bigger.
Okay, so we choose the mood swing. Between manipulation and irrationality, which one wins?
Manipulation.
Of course, I knew that you will answer this. By the way, speaking about manipulation, you always say in all the interviews that you hate people who try to make something of themselves that they're not, and you hate hypocrisy in this way. At the same time, you manipulate a lot in your movies, but this always comes from your hands because people don't judge it like manipulation. You are the greatest manipulator of the movies of today. how do you...
But that's kind of, in the old days when you saw a film, half of the time it was dark in the cinema, right? Because of the images.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you have to be prepared to be manipulated.
Yes.
A little bit. That's part of the game with seeing a film. That is, if you're not manipulated, then you could have saved the money for the ticket. These are geese, and I'm very fond of geese. They travel all the way to Lapland and Siberia for.
That's true. So maybe they are Russians. That could be.
These two I have here every year, but they might be Russians, but then they spend their vacation in Denmark.
So you see, we have so much in common. So manipulation, of course. By the way, by thinking about manipulation, I was so much, shocked by the idea, which I wrote in actually Nilsson's book, that on one of your films where you wrote Gardener, do you remember the movie?
Yeah.
Where you wrote about the girl that Anna was dead because of leukemia after the shootings, and it was
that was
not
actually quite a good idea.
Посвящается Анне, скоропостижно скончавшейся от лейкемии после съемок этого фильма.
That was.
This is so cynical.
It is very cynical, but I'm since I worked in the commercial business, making commercials and PR, then it was very cynical. But
so you made fun of all the people who write something like
no,
this.
but I thought that it would make the film a little more serious,
Okay, so.
But it was not nice. Not nice.
Narcissism or impulsivity? What demons wins?
I don't know.
Be truthful. Because we, people who love Lars, we already know the answer. Does Lars know the answer for himself?
Yeah, narcissism, you're right.
Well, great. Is rudeness a game egotism?
Yeah, but you have the answers. Yeah. Okay.
Egotism.
And
Great.
then you're going to put all these together and then...
Yes, it's like football. Do you watch football? Never. I know you don't. So in football...
I watch tennis.
Now we have semi-final.
Okay.
I just choose by, I don't watch. It's like in cards. Okay, so narcissism, mood swing.
Yeah, narcissism is probably worst, or have always been considered the worst crime.
So it comes to the final. And who will play with narcissism, manipulation or egotism? That's a hard choice, actually.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know what would you choose.
No, I don't know either.
So egotism is kind of synonymous with narcissism. So let's maybe choose manipulation, because we already have narcissism in the final.
Okay, so
Yeah?
you're gonna... Yeah, that's...
But that sounds
that's
logical.
how we consider the Russians. They will always bend the rules.
That's the most interesting part. World Cup. Lars von Trier fights with two main demons. Manipulation or narcissism.
But I don't think it's kind of a full picture of me.
Of course, but it's a small little picture.
But I think they work together.
Yes, that's true. But who is
but couldn't it
leader?
Be
CEO. Who is CEO?
Manipulation is probably the winner.
Great. That's a big final. That's true.
But I will still say that it's part of the game.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, but when you do your manipulations, do you make fun of the ways cinema works? Is it always a game with the cinema itself?
I think that the manipulation, as I said, is an important part of film or theater or whatever. So it's actually, if there was no manipulation at all, then all film watchers in the world would be very disappointed.
But you understand, when I see people that are showed to me like ill of cancer and things like this, for me it's kind of it's like commercial things, you know. You sell something that maybe really could touch me, but you know, they sell it to me. But when I see a duck in your movie, that's something that makes me...
It was filmed down here, and it was the easiest special effect we ever made. Because it was just a rubber leg, kind of. He was having the ducking here, and there was one rubber leg sticking out.
Here, so it was shot here?
Yeah, it was just 100 meters down there.
Yeah, it looks like this. And tell me, and this scene with the people hunting, it was not here, but not far away?
It's not so far away. It was shot in Denmark, all of it.
Okay. So half of the people thought it's a comedy, but half of the people went out saying, how could you torture, you know, people like this? What do you think about this? You like when people leave your movies and say, I don't want to look at it anymore?
I like when there are different opinions. That's very important, because the mainstream I have never been very fond of. So.
Last thing about Russia. Do you know, that's an information I want to share with you, that Russia became a country that watched Jack more than all over the world, and that's a fact. How can you explain it to me, please?
First of all, I'm very proud of it, because, you know, my #1 director in the world is Tarkovsky, so that makes me very proud. I started out being a communist when I was young, and we felt very warmly about the Soviet Union at that time. Then later on you found out that there were things that was not so nice. The problem with communism, I think, is that the values are good, but it's maybe impossible to ever implant without it turning into a dictatorship, which is of course bad. What was your question again?
About Russia, how come Russian people like it so much?
They like vodka.
Good.
Yeah.
Some other explanations?
No, yeah. You will be the one who should judge that, because I wouldn't be able to say.
One of my answers is because the world changed so much that Russia, strangely enough, became the last resort of political uncorrectness. The people can go on streets with saying they like Hitler. We have Russian March where people go with swastikas on it. So our country is very radical in this term.
I'm for the principle. In Denmark we have a law also that it's not forbidden to be a Nazi in Denmark, you know, and that is good, because then we can see that it's just 8 very confused people who wear swastika.
But that means that, you know, in Europe now, sometimes you cannot breathe because of this political correctness.
No, it's
but in Russia,
it's terrible. In France, you know, half of my films can't be shown anymore.
Yes, this is what I'm telling about. And in Russia, it's not like this. People can discuss things. They can think themselves, and they can discuss. So maybe for you, Russia is the last refuge where now you can, you know, come and work and be understood.
I can sit in this little cottage in the woods from the mirror.
Даже когда я просто вспоминаю и детство, и мать, то у матери почему-то всегда твое лицо.
But there's another problem with the mirror, Lars. I know it's your favorite movie, and I know even that the fact that Tarkovsky have seen your movie and didn't like it, even that didn't stop you from liking him and adoring him for all life.
No, but that's how it should be. The old ones should never like the younger ones.
But you should know one secret about Russia. Every girl in a bathing suit in her Instagram in Russia would say Tarkovsky is her favorite director.
Really?
Yeah. Tarkovsky is like Dostoevsky and Tarkovsky. Everyone knows them. They're like, it's like philosophy. We even have a proverb about this. All the directors, even the worst ones, want to shoot like Tarkovsky.
Yeah.
And people, you know, real intellectuals, they hate Tarkovsky.
Okay,
in the
but then
end.
I don't consider myself a real intellectual, but Dostoevsky is a fantastic writer.
Of course.
So was Tolstoy. I think my number one novel is War and Peace. No, which...
No, they are genius, and for
Yeah.
me they're genius, of course, but it's very hard to still like them when they become like Donald Duck.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what you're telling.
Yeah, but that's what happens. And the same I would say if you say Hans Christian Andersen to me.
Great writer, but
Yeah.
he's also Donald Duck.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's too much.
So Tarkovsky is like McDonald's already in Russia, unfortunately,
yeah.
because our country is so obsessed with
That's
it.
interesting because I remember when these films were made, and I didn't have the impression that they were successes. You know, The Mirror specifically was mentioned as a failure.
And how did you feel when you found out that Tarkovsky watched your movie and said, it's not nice? What was your feeling? Did your soul cry inside?
No. I've tried this a couple of times. I wrote a lot of letters to Bergman of how much I loved him, and he never wrote me back. Maybe that was good but he saw my films. He had this little house on an island where he sat and saw all the films that were made in Europe, I think.
You know, Tarkovsky in his diaries once wrote, I was invited to a film festival. Me, Bergman, Bertolucci and Antonioni.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand everything, but what Antonioni has to do with it? About whom of the directors who live now could you say that you would be okay if they will be also invited with you? Whom could you put near you, like Tarkovsky put Bergman and Bertolucci?
I think Bertolucci was extremely good when he started, and he ended off not so good.
No, but I mean now.
Just I don't know. It will always be historical somehow.
So you still don't watch any movies? I cannot believe it. You haven't seen Pulp Fiction of Tarantino?
Yes.
You did?
I must say, and The Matrix I saw,
Okay.
and I enjoyed both of them.
Okay. And Cohen, do you know?
Cohen I don't see, but that's only because they have won the Golden Palm so many times when I was in competition, so I got really mad. So I stopped seeing Cohen. They are, I'm sure, good guys and making very good films, but I don't see them.
Paul Anderson?
I haven't seen much, but what I've seen I liked.
Okay, so still something you watch. One more question. You're such a provocateur of the movies. Can you fantasize if you would be a director in a society like Russia, where you cannot provocate people with something which they see on the streets every day? How could you provocate in these circumstances? Give me ideas. Let's do a brainstorm.
I'm sure I couldn't. I'm sure I couldn't.
So you think it won't be possible?
I could make some remakes of Tarkovsky in a really bad remakes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Lars,
Thank
for
you
this
very
opportunity.
much.
Thank you.